Three, two, one, go.
Okay, welcome to all of you. It is a very good day and very historic day today. I will start. I want to start the event with a simple anecdote. What happened when this Alexander was moving for a very big war? He thought he must have some advice from someone. So he sent his minister to Aristotle. He was his guru. So he was a philosopher. He went to Aristotle gave advice. The man came back, minister came back and whispered in the ears of Alexander. The advice was when you are moving, take philosopher with you, few philosophers with you, because whenever you commit mistake, they will tell you where are you wrong. So I am very happy to have so many person experts in philosophy today. We welcome all of you. Then today's topic is as you know, it is a moral day things, and in this current difficult times, we are all waging a very tough struggle. I really appreciate Mr. Bashik who who conducted all this initiative during this crisis time, or I will request him now to speak as a presidential address. Thank you. Mr. Bashik.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you, Mr. Bajpai. Thank you so much for your calling us. And I would love to welcome all the speakers for today, starting with the moderator, Mr. Bajpai. Thank you so much. Honorable Dr. Sergei Davernov from Russia, who has taken, in spite of his difficult times, who have joined us. Dr. Nemi, for having his time in order to give his spread his word of philosophy, who has joined us. Thank you so much. Dr. Michael Geary, I'm immensely honored. You have definitely taken a lot of time just to come over here in order to give your enlightened speech. I'm really honored to have you. And my dear good friend, Martin, thank you so much for joining me. And a special thanks to our Indian chapter, World Humanitarian Drive, for organizing this important program on this occasion of 75th anniversary of Potsdam Conference. So thank you all for doing this excellent program. So my welcome address is very plainly simple. All of you might know why we are doing this in terms of emphasizing World Moral Day. So many of you would have a question, what is World Moral Day? Aren't we moral enough to spread the word of morality? But that's not the point why we want to have a day separate for World Moral Day. It is a thought-provoking process of making you re-energize, revitalize, re-engage in what we already know. So in our schools, when we used to do education, there's always a moral class. Imagine if we have a yearly moral class in order to revitalize our energy to make it happen. So how the day started was, it started last year when we did a campaign called as Passport to Future on the 30th of September. So now we are asking United Nations to declare 2nd of September as World Moral Day. What is the significance of this day, 2nd of September? What is the significance? If you look into history, exactly on this day, 2nd of September, that's when the Second World War ended. If you look into history, the Second World War ended on the 2nd of September. So, and they call it the Victory Day. If you call something as a victory, of course, there might be somebody who might be losing the war. So we don't want somebody who is going to be a loser. In spite of that, the victory is going to be humanity. So we need to re-understand, re-engage, re-energize to make World Moral Day on this day so we can prevent humanity to have a third world war. On this day, 2nd of September, what we are trying to do is we are trying to reorganize humanity to understand our failures of the past and work towards a cause which can prevent a third world war or any other mishappenings from happening in the future. So we are requesting United Nations to declare 2nd of September in remembrance of the final Second World War to have a World Moral Day. And what have we done as World Humanitarian Drive would be your question. So far in our campaign, starting from 30th of September, we have collected more than 20,000 signatures from 50 plus countries all around the world.
Very great.
And what we have also done is we have taken videos from different parts of the world as support videos. It starts from national countries' speakers, from presidents, from different senators, from MPs, from ordinary people. These are in our activities page on our website, which is www.moralday.com. You can check on our website. We have taken more than 1,200 PhD scholars from all around the world, from Oxford, Yale, Harvard, all these PhD scholars. We have collected letters of support for this World Moral Day campaign. Not only that, I have personally written a book called as Re-Engineering Happiness, to make the way of life which has to begin with you. So this book has been our idealistic campaign. We have also done various events all around the world to emphasize on United Nations to declare 2nd of September as World Moral Day. We have also, from World Humanitarian Drive, we have also received a letter personally from his Secretary General of United Nations, Undersecretary, confirming and applauding our actions and giving us advice how to take it further. So I have personally engaged with good friends of mine who are falling apart in this part of the team as a steering committee of World Moral Day. So our members of steering group, Dr. Sergei Dovernov from Russia, Dr. Nemi from United Kingdom, Dr. Michael Geary from USA, and my dear good friend Martin from UK, and Neeraj is also a part of a steering group committee in order to make sure that this of World Moral Day becomes a reality. So the working committee of steering group is going to work towards the idea and implement it. And I kindly welcome each and every one of you who wish to join this group. We can very well work towards it. So currently we have 20 people in the steering group committee from more than 20 countries. So we have currently 20 country people, so from different parts of the world. So I am happy to join more people in the steering committee in order to make this dream a reality. So without any further delay, I thank each and every one of you for giving me this opportunity to make this dream a reality. So I end my speech by saying, let's work for a cause. Let's work for a cause when love is our applause. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mashid. September 2 is something very, very important. But July 17 is also very important because the post-jam conference started today. Or I welcome Mr. Michael Geary, who is a spiritual guru, philosopher, Vedic college. I want him to speak on the subject. Welcome, Mr. Michael Geary.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. And thank you to all the esteemed speakers here and all of our listeners. It's an important subject, peace and morality, and what is the connection to that? I'd like to pick up on a theme that Dr. Abdul Basit touched on in his presentation, which is that why do we have World Moral Day when everyone will automatically say, well, I'm a moral person? What is the importance of being conscious of morality? And to emphasize that point, I'd like to draw everybody to a remembrance of that great Indian epic, the Mahabharata. And there's a rather heroic and somewhat pathetic scene toward the end of the Mahabharata where the sage king Bhishma Dev is laying on his deathbed on the battle of Kurukshetra. And he's there giving instructions in statecraft to his last remaining heirs. The battle has taken the lives of literally tens of millions of soldiers, great warriors of great caliber and moral standing. And all that's left is Bhishma Dev and his 5 grandnephews who will be ascending the throne. And he makes a very important statement, I believe, that really relates to what we're doing here today. And he says very simply, he makes a profound statement: he who nurtures morality will be sustained by morality. And those of you who are familiar with that great Indian epic will know that the word that he uses, the Sanskrit word that he uses, is dharma. And dharma, you could say, is kind of the king of moral concepts, if you will. It's a concept that was discovered and articulated by the great enlightened sages of India, what you could call the great masters of living, who carefully, through their prayerful mentality and sacrifice to humanity, discovered what are the underlying principles that sustain the world. What are these basic principles that uphold our human existence, and how can we follow them and prosper by following them? And so in the Dharma model, or what I call the Dharma diamond, there are 4 basic ideas that are the font of all moral code. Truth, and the idea of truth in a post-truth world nowadays seems like it's a tall order, it's a big ask, but it's still a very important concept. What is the truth? Because it comes from the Sanskrit word sat, which means that which is, that which has value. Another word that he uses is ahimsa, which means don't do any violence. So the basic golden rule, which is age-old and common to all great wisdom traditions: do unto others as you would have them do unto yourself. The next one is purity, or socha. So how to keep an uncluttered mind, how to clear your mind of unnecessary thoughts that will bring us down, like anger, envy, resentment, and so on, frustration. This is all part of the great tradition of every wisdom tradition in the world, how to keep a clean mind. And then lastly, how to be passionate about what we do and how to apply our efforts to the things that we do with real commitment so that they actually produce the fruits that we're looking for. So the sages of India, they gave us this model of Dharma, and Bhishma, the great king, is telling his heirs who are about to ascend the throne, if you follow moral principles, morality will sustain you. And this is the point that I want to leave you with, which is a very important philosophical point, that these principles exist as underlying energetic substructures in the universe. When we're conscious of them, they maintain us. When we neglect them, then we do so at our own peril. So the sages of India, they ask us, please be conscious of them. Please apply our attention to these ideas, and by doing so, our minds become light. We become enlightened with new forms of inspiration that show us that actually we're one human family. We have one earth to live on, and we have really the important responsibility to think about how to maintain what we have for the preservation of future generations. That's a very important part, I believe, of what Dr. Abdul Basit is really advocating with World Moral Day. How do we ensure that the world doesn't fall into calamity? So I encourage all of you to take these ideas and reflect on them. There are so many different ways of looking at morality, so many great traditions in the world: Muslim, Hindu, Buddhist, and so on, Christian. We all have a universal connection. And if we can align behind those universal moral ideas, I think we will stand a chance of creating a world of prosperity and harmony in the future. Thank you.
Oh, very, very inspiring address we have given. Now I welcome Dr. V.V. Nami Swami to speak to us and give us some ideas, future course of action. Dr. Nemi. Dr. Nemi. Dr. Nemi, please unmute yourself.
Sorry. Yeah. So, honored Chairman, Dr. Abdul Basit, our honored speakers, and everybody who's taking part in this conference. So we're marking the event of the 75th anniversary of the Potsdam Conference, which was an attempt to create peace and unity after the Second World War. So actually this conference was the third in a series of conferences. And one point is that already at the end of this series of conferences, things had changed a lot. Roosevelt had died, and Churchill, who had taken part in the previous conferences, he was very distracted, and he was replaced by Attlee. So, and also by the Potsdam Conference, actually, Germany had capitulated. So we see that times change and personalities change. So we need something which is more permanent than personalities and circumstances. And that is our universal values. And morals are a very essential part of universal ideals and values. So this effort by Dr. Abdul Basit is very praiseworthy because it's bringing this point. And morals are very essential for maintaining society. This is the first point. Now also, what was the goal of the Potsdam Conference? The idea was to create peace and unity. Now, how can we get peace and unity? To get unity, we need a common purpose. And for that, we have to understand what is the purpose of life? What's the nature of life? We're conscious beings. We have a body, we have a mind, but we're the conscious being or the spiritual being within the body and mind. So the purpose of life is to increase well-being for everybody. Well-being for body, well-being for mind, well-being for spirit. And it's the responsibility of the individual for their own well-being of body, mind, and spirit, complete well-being, and also for their dependents. And then it's the responsibility of leaders to make sure that there is a good structure, a good educational, spiritual, political, economic framework, which helps people, nurtures their well-being for body, mind, and spirit. This is there. Now, there can't be conscious well-being or spiritual well-being without morals, because immoral behavior actually destroys our spirituality, destroys our consciousness. So morals are very, very essential. Then secondly, peace. How can we have peace? Peace comes when we're spiritually when we're satisfied, when we have well-being. Those who actually have well-being, conscious well-being, spiritual well-being, they're satisfied. They don't have to fight over material resources. They're satisfied in themselves, and they accept what comes by nature's way. So again, this state of spiritual well-being, that's also maintained by morals. We cannot have that without morals. So we need moral individuals, we need morals in society, and we need moral leaders. But we're pushed to find that now. We need morals between nations, like the headlines this morning is about one nation stealing information from another nation, and actually trying to subvert the process, the social process for helping people to get well-being. So where are the morals? And then we see that even nations are stealing from their citizens, because actually the birthright of everybody is well-being. And if we're being locked into some mechanistic, dysfunctional social system, then that robs us, actually, it robs us of our opportunity for well-being. Well-being body, well-being mind, well-being of spirit. So morality has to be there between individuals and also in our leaders. And it will be a great day when we can all individually and also collectively agree on common morals. Like, for example, Dr. Geary, he's already mentioned truthfulness, purity, loving kindness, simplicity, and simple living. These are essential. So we need examples of those, and we need a common agreement that that is our common goal. And this World Moral Day on 2nd September, so this will be a great underpinning for all of these common, ideals and purposes and efforts. So I thank Dr. Abdul Basit for his great efforts in this direction, and I'm looking forward to cooperating with all the members of this steering committee and all the members of the whole worldwide movement towards more morality and more conscious well-being, spiritual well-being. So with this, I end my speech. Thank you very much indeed.
You have given a very detailed, very inspiring address. We are really thankful to you for your ideas. Someone asked a French philosopher, what is morality? He answered, just a minute. He answered, the herd community instinct in every individual is there. That is the morality. Now, I welcome Dr. Sergi. He is the president of the International Diplomatic Club. And I request him to give some light on the subject to us. A lot of people are listening to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, dear colleagues, dear partners. I'm so happy to be today in such significant day together. Exactly 75 years ago, 17th of July, the Potsdam Conference was start, and then at the beginning of August, it was finished. And I'm very appreciative to all the topics of our conversation, of our discussion, and many thanks to Mr. Abdul Basit Sayed, who unite all of us. I'm so appreciative because of his tie. You can recognize pure British because of his tie, and specifically the colors, as you can see, red, blue, and white is the colors of Russian flag. And if we will do together some flashback to history, 75 years ago, UK, America, and Russia, all leaders of the three countries sit together in one table. Can you imagine the same situation right now? I think so that it's not so easy, but they was united because of the enemy. You know, enemy very easily can unite us. It was the aggressive doctrine of Hitler and the big challenger which was done to all civilization. And now, right now, frankly speaking, we have the same enemy. And our enemy, the name of our enemy is ignorance. And because of ignorance, right now, we stay before big catastrophe of all human civilization. You can see that all situation with nature, we have catastrophe in ecology, we have catastrophe with all our economic, financial, ideological crisis, with everything. All situation we can explain like a crisis. In this case, what can really effectively unite all of us? You know, morality is like a fundamentation, like a fundament for the spirituality. But it's the same thing. Spirituality is like a fundamental principle of morality. Together, the quality of the human beings. If you're looking to the animal world, they have no any morality and spirituality. We're different. That's why I am so appreciative to the initiatives of WHD organization, huge organization, to make this 2nd of September World Moral Day. Why? Because it's opportunity for all of us. I want to remind you that specifically Russian initiatives in Potsdam Conference was to make big advertisement of the personal responsibility of all criminals from Germany.
War criminals.
All of their names and it was a crime against humanity. And then they was punished and they was killed. You know, for the criminal to be killed, it's a big opportunity, because he can give example to all humanity how through his bad actions in his life he can receive some next opportunity in next life to make his proper behavior. Because for me, I can't believe to any morality without spirituality. But for the atheistic consciousness, morality is equal to spirituality. If they not believe to a God, at least they can believe to the morality. That's why to make this international platform World Moral Day, it's an opportunity for all, you know, goodwill people today to make a strategy, to make a moving map, how we can unite all of us and save the planet. If we will not do it, if we will not make the strategy plan, I think we can expect big catastrophe in close future. That's why I am so appreciative to Mr. Abdulbasit Sayed that for his heroic act, he unite all of us, people from different religion, from different culture, different points of view, different experience.
Really thankful to you, Mr. Saji.
All of us completely understand. If we will not unite all our efforts together, we will receive very bad situation. That's why I think that through this through this institution of United Nations, we can make big strategic plan how we can fix it this International Moral Day, and then how we can celebrate every year, and how we can put all our energy to this big opportunity for all of us. That is my point of view. I'm very happy to share with you my energy of my heart. Thank you so much. And finally, I'm very appreciative to the speech of Dr. Michael Giri, because he reminded to us this very significant word, dharma. And as you know, in Hindu philosophy, Hindu tradition, dharma himself, he has a personal embodiment, like personal image. He's Dharmaraj. He's assistant of the God. And he reminds, and meeting with him already fixed in our karma, in all our life history. And we should reply to all our acting in our life in front of his face. That is very, very important. Thank you, Dr. Michael Giri, that you remind about this significant word. And I'm very happy to be with you, to be a member of your team. And again, thank you to Mr. Abdulbasit Sayed, which unite all of us. Thank you.
Thank you, Saji. You spoke very well. And you rightly said, spirituality is equal to morality, and morality is equal to spirituality. Now I welcome Mr. Martin Whitman. He is known human rights activist. He is the director of All Faith Network. Mr. Martin Whitman.
Well, thank you.
Oh, welcome. We all are waiting to listen to you.
Okay.
And when you are known human rights activist, you are working very hard, you work very hard, and you are the director for All Faith Network. The entire world is like to listen to your ideas and perceptions.
Thank you very much, and thank you for that kind introduction. I'm honored to be asked to be a part of this. As all the other speakers have said, I really appreciate the work that Abdulbasit has done to generate and create this movement. And, you know, it's people with good hearts and caring people. And I'm sure all of us here are good, caring friends, and they want to see an improvement in the conditions of this world. And I think there can be nothing more important than that we are people working together with a good purpose, and that we will achieve something through this. Now, I would say that there are, I appreciate that we've had a philosophical sort of foundation to it. I really also appreciate and understand the spiritual aspect that has been brought to this. And I think that I would like to bring perhaps something a little bit more practical to it as well. But before I get to that, I just wanted to also say that I think it could be important as part of our movement and our activities forward to look at why has our civilization declined over the last 50 or so years? There was not this same amount of criminality, of drugs, of child trafficking, of all sorts of different aspects of human rights abuses. And I think it's an important aspect for us to look at, because if we understand where some of this is coming from, or where it has come from, and it could be helpful in dealing with the problems. And I will just give you one quote, one thought on this, which is that in 1945, funnily enough, around the time of the Potsdam Conference, a psychiatrist, Brock Chisholm, who was at the time the president of the World Federation of Mental Health, he proclaimed that the reinterpretation and eventually eradication of the concept of right and wrong, which has been the basis of child training, the substitution of intelligent and rational thinking, are the related objectives of practically all effective psychotherapy. Now, I'm saying that because, you know, clearly at this point in time, the concept, obviously the concept of right and wrong is vital to morality. And if there has been an attempt, and this is what we should perhaps examine, to undermine these concepts and to lower the moral standards of the world, then this is something that we could look at, and it could be helpful to bring about a greater understanding, and to understand where the erosion of moral standards have come from. So I just share that as a one thought of something that we could look at on the way forward. The other thing that I would like to bring to you is a practical way in which, I mean, Dr. Abdul-Basit has certainly knows about this, and I think he likes the campaign very much, and it's called the Way to Happiness campaign. And the Way to Happiness campaign is it's a non-religious collection of 30 precepts that would cover moral standards. And I say non-religious not because religion is not important, quite to the contrary. Religion, I believe, is very important, if not vital. But it's non-religious in that it's a code which any religion or anyone from no religion can accept and would be able to apply as moral standards. And I'm just going to show you here that there is this is the booklet, The Way to Happiness, and there is a whole series of practical things which are, this is whoops, sorry, get it in the camera. It's an educator's guide for the way to happiness. And this is so that in schools, there is a whole series of lessons plans which can be used in schools or outside of schools, in any setting, obviously, to help young people and old people and any people to gain a better understanding. These campaign has also been used in prisons to help prisoners regain their integrity, because, you know, that is what is a criminal. It's a criminal is someone who has lost his integrity and his respect for himself and others. That's the only reason someone would commit a criminal act. And again, that comes back to the moral standards of an individual. And to round it off, there is this, which is a video which explains each of the precepts. And there is even a sort of different version, which is for children, which is used in schools. Quite a lot of schools in Pakistan and some in India as well right now are using this, and elsewhere around the world. So I'm offering this to you as a practical way in which we can hopefully work together, which we can educate people, because we are at a point where we need to educate people in this world about the standards to which we think towards moral standards, and to improve the conditions of life on this planet. So those are my key points. Again, I am honored very much to be part of this. I really hope I will be able to contribute significantly. I've happily worked with Abdul Basit on this and a few other projects recently. So thank you very much again. I'm very happy to be part of this group. Thank you very much.
Mr. Martin, so nice of you. You are way to happiness for all of us today.
Very good.
And I really welcome and hail all those who are joining us from various parts of the world. I really respect them for their interest. Now I will request Secretary General of WSD, Mr. Arul, to speak. Then at the end, we will take questions and answers. Mr. Arul.
Thank you, sir. Respected Founder Chairman, World Humanitarian Drive, Honorable Dr. Abdul Basit Syed, our respected moderator, Mr. Neeraj Bajpai, Senior Journalist and Chief Editor of News About from India, respected Chief Guest, Mr. Martin Wayman, Human Rights Activist for over 2 decades and Director All Faiths Network from United Kingdom, Honorable Speakers, Dr. Michael Gary, Life Coach, Writer, Philosopher from United States of America, Maharaja Dr. B.V. Nevi Swami, Spiritual Leader, Teacher, Speaker, Poet, Author from United Kingdom, Dr. Sergei Devnov, President, International Diplomatic Club, Amicability, Philosopher, former Head Faculty at Institute of St. Petersburg from Russia, our most valued invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, a warm good evening to everyone. It's a great privilege to propose a vote of thanks on this special event marking the 75th anniversary of Potsdam Conference. Today, we witnessed great insight and in-depth knowledge in the field of humanity and how important it is to emphasize a World Moral Day, one step closer to achieving world peace. In fact, Michael Gary, sir, had explained about Dharma, principles, and consciousness, and it was seconded by Swamiji and also by the respected chief guest, Mr. Martin Wayman. It sounds great, and they have quoted ancient Indian epics and Indian Sanskrit literature. That is really nice of you, sir. And today we witnessed great insight. And I, on behalf of World Humanitarian Drive and all WSD chapters at various countries, extend a hearty welcome note of thanks to our respected moderator, honorable speakers, and distinguished guests for sparing their valuable time and gracing this occasion with such incredible viewpoints and forethought towards moral values.
Now we will take up the questions and answers. There are a lot of questions, a lot of people are trying to ask the questions. But
Yes,
I will request-
let's finish off that, sir. Then I'll end up at last, sir.
okay,
We'll have question and answer section now.
okay, first. The first question goes to Mr. Michael. What is the difference between moral education and character education? People want to know from you.
Well, in the traditions of the world's wisdom traditions all over the world, they are more or less synonymous. To develop good character, one must have a moral and ethical compass. That means you have to have a sense of what is true in life and what is valuable. You have to have a sense of your own purpose in life and how to gently and respectfully express that in the world around you. So you have to have great care in dealing with everybody. In many of the world's wisdom traditions, certainly in Indian tradition, that also means animals. So we have to respect the entire environment. Good character also means clean mind, untroubled mind, and it means right action. So actually working hard for the right purposes that are conducive for yourself, but also for others. So for me, it's very difficult to make a distinction between moral development and character development. I would say they go hand in hand. You might actually say that there are deep aspects of morality that you can explore, and you can also explore deeper ways of building your character, but that's for a different subject some other time, perhaps.
Oh, nice of you. The next question is to Dr. Swami, Mr. Nemi. Mr. Nemi, please unmute yourself.
Yeah.
Nemi, Dr. Nemi, are you listening to me?
I am listening. I'm
Okay,
hearing you.
you are a very good teacher also, very good poet, I am told. So today you have to answer one question to your students.
Uh-huh.
So what do you think? How many years will it take to achieve the real moral day?
How many years will it take to achieve the real moral day?
The real moral day. Mr. Bashis is trying for the moral day in annual, but real morality day, when will it come? And how will it come?
It depends on individuals and it depends on leaders. Without moral leadership, we can't, real morality everywhere, it can't be achieved. We can have a moral day and we should have a moral day. And as Dr. Giri has pointed out, and others also, that actually to have morality, we need spirituality. Dr. Sergey also, he explained. So we need leaders who are going to lead the world in terms of morality and spirituality also. And Dr. Giri, he pointed to the Mahabharata. So the heroes of the Mahabharata, especially, for example, Yudhishthira Maharaj, and also Bhishma Dev, whom he is described as great leader, they were both spiritual, extremely spiritual, and extremely moral. So actually, it is essential to have leaders like that. And how are we going to get to that stage? I regret that it's not clear at the moment, but we can pray for that.
My next question is to Dr. Sarji. Dr. Sarji, please unmute yourself. Dr. Sarji.
Yes.
You are the president of the International Diplomatic Club. How this diplomacy will help us to achieve this World Moral Day?
Yes, it's a very important question. Thank you so much. I'm so appreciate. First of all, I want to say that right now, education process, including to receive some information and accept this information and make the human being like a function in some economic process, and don't take care about some quality of behavior of the personality. It's very important that morality can give to us not information, but some transformation, we can say. Transformation. It's very important. And I think that today we can put three words morality, spirituality, and knowledge. All of them is equal. If we will share with the spiritual knowledge, we can make that moral leadership, which Dr. Naimi mentioned. Without leaders, without opinion leaders, without some influence personalities, some who can take responsibility, like who can be very brave in this activity, we cannot do anything. That's why our international diplomatic club will also target some leaders, and we want to give them the opportunity to receive the knowledge, very ancient and very significant knowledge, like Dr. Michael Geary, he mentioned about Mahabharata. I think that is a book of the future leadership, because they give the examples to us how to be real noble leader. That is very important. That's why we do our public diplomacy, culture diplomacy, but especially we start with our spiritual diplomacy. Even, you know, it's very important. That's why I want to invite all of you to be part of our project, and we can do it from heart to heart together.
So nice of you. The next very crucial question is to Mr. Martin Whitman. Can you unmute yourself, Mr. Martin? I have written the question for you. What kind of influence you shall bring for a positive change in the world system for Faith Committee to support the campaign for the World Moral Day?
Could you give me that again, please?
How can you influence the society and the world system to bring this World Moral Day campaign, to give a push to this World Moral Day campaign?
How can I contribute? Yeah.
How will you influence the world?
Okay. Well, I think there are various ways that this can be done. I will continue to support the actions and activities that Dr. Abdul Basit has already started. I will build upon those with him and with all of you. I think that we can work out ways to make this whole campaign known and made much more broadly and widely accepted. For me, it's not just one day. It's not just, you know, September the 2nd. For me, it's every day. And this is what we also have to communicate. Morals, and I know you all know this, and that the September the 2nd is simply a focus, but every day is, you know, World Moral Day, really, because, you know, it's our lives. It's what is, you know, it's what's in our hearts. It's what's central to how we live. And so I will do that in every way I can. I think that the campaign that I mentioned to you, which will, you know, it will be a part of the World Moral Day campaign to help educate people at a grassroots level, whether they're children or adults or criminals or anybody else. So I don't know if that really answers your question, but I hope so.
Thank you. So nice of you. Before we proceed further, I just want to tell all of you, there is a book, very interesting book, Die Empathy. It was written by Mr. Todd Henry. He was sitting in a class, business class, in a business meeting. So some director asked, which is the most rich place in the world? Someone said, the mines of Africa, golden mines of Africa. Someone said something. He said, no. The richest place in the world is cemetery, where thousands and thousands of people are dead lying there with all their wisdoms, all their good ideas, everything, because they did not get time to translate their ideas into practicals. But I really appreciate Mr. Basit. So whatever idea he has, he translates it into action. So I will request Mr. Basit to encapsulate the entire conference of today, and then Mr. Arul will end up the conference. Mr. Basit.
Thank you so much, Mr. Bajpai. So thank you once again, each and every one of you. And there are a lot of valuable points from our honorable speakers, PhD scholars who have dedicated their lives to change the society for the betterment of humanity. So I really want to thank you. And there is a lot of takeaways from each and every one of you who have given their thoughts and actions, plans. So further going in terms of future for the steering committee, my ideas and vision. So the ideas and vision I have is this steering committee will be the front foot of taking this World Moral Day to United Nations to make this as a reality. So our plans and establishments will be to be having a second event coming forth on the 2nd of September, insisting on the same. So as previously said in our previous program of Stars of COVID, it all depends upon nature's wisdom to allow us to have a live event or a virtual event. If it is going to be a live event, I would wholeheartedly let you know of the location or the venue where we are going to have this event. So this will be a campaign-oriented event where World Moral Day will be insisted upon all the country leaders, where each and every one of our steering committee members can have a focus and ideas being transformed to make it as a reality. So at the moment, as previously said, we have 20 members of the steering committee. So this steering committee will be put into action, and this action will have a positive journey in order to make this a reality. So I once again thank WHD Indian chapter for organizing this fantastic event, and I welcome all of the new members to our committee as well, along with thanking our speakers once again for having their time in this virtual event to make this a reality. Thank you.
Mr. Arul, please hold up the event. Please speak 1 or 2 sentences.
Yes, sir. As we know, WHD has already proposed 2nd September to the United Nations for declaring it as the World Moral Day, and working towards that objective. WHD's untiring efforts working towards humanity and peace will soon be recognized by the United Nations. It's high time to acknowledge that a man without morals is like a body without soul. Everyone will realize soon that the key to happiness is hidden in our moral values. Success is incomplete without humanity, morality, and ethics. Declaring World Moral Day will not only be a ray of hope for the future of mankind, but also will ensure a peaceful and happy world in the days to come. WHD will be grateful to each and every individual present out there and will progress towards its aim if you all become an independent ambassador for spreading peace and humanity around you in your day-to-day life with good thoughts and great deeds. Ladies and gentlemen, an event like this cannot happen overnight. We'll start rolling weeks or sometimes months before. WHD is fortunate enough to have Ms. Sarah Wilson, Director, Global Operations, and a dedicated technical core team. They deserve much more than an appreciation for their involvement and willingness to complete tasks beyond their comfort zone. Thank you, team. I like to express my sincere gratitude once again to all speakers and guests, along with a special notable mention to Mr. Neeraj Bajpai, who moderated this event very skillfully. Thank you for being with us this evening and making this event a memorable one. Jai Hind.
Thank you. Thank you to all of you. You may say goodbye now.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
So nice of you.
So we will definitely welcome you all to our participation committee for a steering group, and I hope we will see you all in our future events, which will be even more bigger on a live scale. So thank you, everyone. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you
Thank you.
very much.
Thank you so much.
Goodbye to everybody. Best wishes.